Hi everybody! Today I wanted to share with you some of my favorite exercises for breath work, which are straw exercises. Now, straw exercises are semi-occluded vocal tract exercises, and that's basically just a fancy word for saying that your mouth is partially closed. So what you're doing is you're getting the pressure from your mouth being partially closed, the pressure of the breath hitting that surface, combined with the lung pressure that you're getting of the breath coming from the lungs, and those are both working to hit the cords. Instead of when your mouth is open, you only have the pressure from your lungs. So you have the back pressure as well. So it's coming from two directions, which makes it easier for your cords to vibrate. So they vibrate with more ease and also less effort. So this is a great way to teach yourself to breathe properly and to learn breath control. Now, the way you do it is you just need two things that are super simple to get. You just need a cup of water. Mine is clear so that hopefully you can see the action going on inside the cup. And I'm using a straw. All right, so the first thing we're gonna do is you're going to take your cup of water and you're gonna take your straw. Now, it's just gonna be any cup of water, fill it with some water like you did when you were a kid with like some chocolate milk and you blew bubbles in it. That's essentially what we're gonna do. So it's kind of fun. So I like a straw that is, I'm using like a thermos straw. It's like from one of my kids' sippy cups. It's actually the best kind to use. It's just like a nice reusable straw. Because it's not as like flimsy as like a plastic straw or a bendy straw. So you can get any straw, though. It doesn't have to be this one. This is just environmentally friendly. So you take your cup of water, you take your straw, and first you're going to try blowing the bubbles and just keeping them even at a consistent rate. No volcanoes, right? Just nice and even. The next thing you're going to do is you're going to blow the bubbles and just add in a voiced consonant, like a VW, like a V. We're just going to do that in the water. Keeping them even. Again, no in your face. This is wrong. I just got water smack in my eye. Yeah, water everywhere. So if you get water in your face like that, you're not doing it right. You want to keep the water relatively consistent and relatively even. No lava eruptions. So now once you can do it on a voiced consonant, now you're going to do the consonant and blowing bubbles and just alternate. So you're just going to go... So it's the same. It shouldn't change. I should keep the bubbles the same whether or not I'm just blowing the air or putting the consonant in. Next thing you can do is just doing a vocal slide, just going up and down on your pitch. And your pitch shouldn't affect it. You should be able to keep it relatively even though you're moving up and down on a vocal slide. So we're going to go. So that is an example of the correct way to do it. Just going up and down. Now, if I go to a higher pitch and all of a sudden I have another one of those lava eruptions, I braced myself that time because I definitely got hit with water. When I went to the higher note, bam, water in the face. Again, that means you got to work on it. You want to work to keep that lava eruption smaller, and then eventually not have any lava eruption at all. You feel the water on my face from that. So now if you're able to get through that and keep it relatively even, the next thing you can do is just let the straw sit like just barely on top of the water. I'm not sure if you're going to be able to see this. I'm going to try and hold it a little closer. And what you're going to do is you're just going to continue the voice slide without creating any volcanoes. It's almost going to create an indent. Just sitting on top of the water and the water's barely moving. Versus... that one, the water jumped up when I went to the higher note. That's not what we want. We want it to stay relatively even. So, correct? incorrect. There's more air going, and suddenly I'm pushing too much air through and it's going up in the air. So we don't want that. The next step that you can do is after you've let the straw just sit on top of the water and just trying that one, another thing you could do is just actually take the straw out of the cup. And maybe take a drink first. Cheers. So now that we've done it with the straw and we've tried different variations, what you can take is just the straw and just be able to try it with your hand or a paper in front of it. So what you're really testing for is you're using the paper or your hand to test whether or not you're putting too much air through. If it's like you're suddenly feeling a ton of air on your hand. So I'm just going to go... And I'm feeling on my hand that there's air hitting it. I feel the air hit it, but I don't feel more air hitting my hand when I go to the higher note. So that's one way you could do it. You can also take a piece of paper. This is my trusty straw exercises paper. So I'm going to take it. I'm almost like up against this. It's not really doing anything. Versus... Do you see how the paper moved when I did that? I just blew air at the paper and it flew. We don't want that. We want to feel that the air on the hand as well as the air that is hitting the paper, it's just even. It's the same amount whether I'm going to the higher pitch or the lower pitch. Now, the final step you could do is just taking the straw out and just using it as a kazoo. You could even do it just without a straw, but it's still good because you can still kind of feel it on your hand. It's a good test. Especially if you're new to it, it's nice to have something that you could use as a test rather than just question, am I doing it right? I can't tell. So that's the whole point of it, is like you could see the bubbles. You could see whether or not they're going up or down. I could see the paper. I could feel it on my hand. By having these tangible things you could look at when you're home alone and doing it yourself, you could tell that you're right. Rather than you're breathing and you're like, am I doing it right? I don't know. No one's here to tell me. So this is a great way to do it and be able to tell for yourself. So for this one, you're just going to hold the straw in front of you and you're just going to go... just the way we did before. But you can just do that voice slide even without it. And... just feeling whether or not you're doing it. Just a good way to warm it up, wake up the vocal cords. Wake them up, work on your breath at the same time, and then get a nice sip of water at the end so that you can work on some more vocal exercises. So take a nice sip and you're all done. So enjoy doing that so that you can work on breathing at home and have a nice, simple way to do some breath work on your own.